Hello. Hello. There we go. Now I'm working. Haha. Fixed it. We fixed it. Hopefully the music is not too loud. I'll mess with it some. G'day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Octaregis stream. I have to send out my announcement that I'm live. That's what we gotta do. Where is the newsletter? There it is. Let's grab the copy that. Okay, nice. We are officially on the air. Whoop-de-doo. And Twitch is not happy with me. That's interesting. My average bit rate seems too high. I don't know how you change that. Okay. Well, I don't know. Twitch might not be working. We will see. We will see. Certainly, we shall see. But yeah, no, we're live. Howdy, howdy, howdy to the people. Today we're going to be doing head XY rigging. Sorry, I've had to get my life together. I have been having the worst technical difficulties. For some reason, my computer just decided that it wasn't going to connect to the internet, which is super weird and not what should be happening. But anyway, so you guys can see on the screen, I have the Vtuber and Live2D all set up. And today we're doing head rigging. And I'm going to try, oh boy, to do something different than what I've done for the past. So the tutorial that I follow by, well, I say follow, I've been kind of deviating a little bit already, that I've been referencing by Merrily Yufe, which is, I think it's linked in the stream description this time. So you should be able to check it out if you want, if you're interested. But anyway, but that does a thing where you rig. I could pull up Regis's model. I'm not gonna. You rig the whole head under one warp deformer that you call the head XY deformer, and that ends up with something that looks kind of like this. And I like Regis's rig. I think it's good, but it could potentially be better. And so what we're going to try today is to do each different part of the head on its own XY and see if that goes better, like looks better, if it's faster. I don't know. We'll find out. Well, that's what we're going to be doing. You getcha. You getcha. So anyway, hopefully everything sounds good and we should be cooking here. I'm going to double check that chat is working. Yeah, it is. Good. Okay. We should be all set. So what we're going to do to get started is go, oh dear, is go watch my video for a minute about how to do this again. Yeah, okay, so that's what I thought. So this is gonna be different and weird for me. Yay! What we're gonna do is we're going to take the base parts of the head, um, like I'm not gonna use the deformer log because that's not got everything. So we have these parts. This is the face line art, the R line art mask, and the face base. Um, and this is gonna be weird. I think I can retroactively do this to where I do the head part first, and then I go back and I add the other stuff to it. Um, but it's gonna be kind of strange. So in order to do that, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna select everything on the head here. Okay. No, sorry. We're gonna select everything here. Oh, let's try that again. If I go back and I select everything on her head, that's better. Okay. Let's guys for a sec. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here to the back hair, and we're going to deselect all of these parts. Since we're not messing with those yet, we'll do that later. Um, the back hair short, I could, but we're not going to include yet either. Again, we can try to kind of put that back together later. So basically everything to do with like the hair in the back, we're not going to mess with. We're not going to mess with the blush toggle for her torso. And nothing with the neck is included here. But all of the front hair and all of the side bangs, I don't know why those aren't included either. Kind of weird. Basically, we're just going to make sure that we've selected everything in here, including these. These aren't on. That's why they're not getting selected. This isn't on, which is why it's not getting selected. Eyes should still be. Oh, nope, messed that up. Hold on. Let me just quickly go through here and select all these again. I made this harder than it had to be. I'm probably, for the life of me, making all of this harder than it has to be, but I think that this method will work based on what I know about rigging. So we're going to give it our best to go. You're just like all of that stuff and this dark face toggle. Now, that should be absolutely everything that needs to adhere to the head, not including these toggles up here. We'll get to those. We'll get to those at some point. I'm not going to mess with them right now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make a new warp deformer with our fancy little window here. The warp divisions are going to be, how big does she make hers? Okay, so yeah, so we're going to do like 20 by 18 as a default, and I'll adjust it if we need. And we're going to call this okay. I don't know what it's complaining about. That's okay. So we're going to call this head XY. We'll still use the one deformer because that's what I've done with other models. We'll just deform things individually and then like stack them up. Yeah, it may not work. I mean, as well as I'm hoping, but hopefully it will work the way that I think. So we're going to make this like so. That's because it doesn't like head. Yep, that's why it's mad at me about that. Okay, try again. Curved deformer divisions might impact performance. Okay. I really don't know what its problem is. It's probably going to complain at me again, but bear with me here for a sec. So, head XY. I can change that in a second. Yeah, it doesn't like me. Okay, let's just try again. So I want to select everything here. I want to not include any of the back hair. I want all of this not in there. And no scalp. Okay. I don't want the chain, I don't want this, and I don't want the neck. But everything else here pretty much needs to be in there. We're just going to go ahead and make it. And if there's something that's not in there, it's going to be fine because I'm about to drag all this back out anyway. I just need it to be the right size. So we're going to go head XY. We're going to create. I hate this app so much sometimes. Is it again? Okay, so it doesn't like me selecting head Z. That should really be the only problem though, so I don't know why. Is this gonna work this time? No. Okay. Problems. These are fun. You're not supposed to be problems. It wants me to make something with the same parent deformer selected. So like head Z is not gonna be. But it should be fine. The other way that I can do this, it would be annoying, but I could do it this way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's mad. Here's what we're gonna do. We are just going to do it this way then. Give me face space. We're going to create a work deformer. Hi, how you doing? And you are going to be renamed. And my rename tab, because I can't do it in the thing here. Hi, how's it going? I would like to rename you. Oh, right, I do that in the inspector panel. I always forget. I'm too used to my drawing program working a different way. Oh, dear. I did actually hit the go live button, right? Yeah, I did. There's just nobody watching. That's okay. Let's far quiet. Nobody wants to watch me make sketchy. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh no. Okay. So face base, warp deformer of face. All of this here. This should be fine. Oh, do we have a viewer? Okay, there is at least one person. Probably Sketch. I don't know why it's telling me that it's just my thing is wrong then. Cool. That's good. My internet's probably just buggy. I feel better though. So that's nice. Okay, let's see. So, doing things. Trying to solve this issue that I'm having. This is the thing, and we're going to grab Alt and make it bigger. Oh dear. Alt Shift. Nope. That's making her head big. Control Shift Alt. There we go. And really it's just going to be Control Alt because I want to make this basically the size of her head, roughly speaking. But just enough that like everything here, I'm gonna shrink this side a little, can fit inside of it. That's going to be important because we want everything that is eventually going to be inside of this, if it actually works the way that I want it to do that. Now, it's possible that it won't matter, but hopefully it's going to matter. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to change our warp divisions to what I wanted them to be, which is going to be 20. Yes, I know, you're mad. Just stop being mad. Gonna be fine. But I don't know why it's mad about that. That is this, but you have to have it that way. Let me double check my video. Yeah, no, I'm doing it the right way. It just doesn't like it. But this is how it's supposed to be, so I don't know. Maybe they changed it in the update and it's just not happy, but this is how we should have it. Okay. Now we can rename it. Now it will be head XY. Haha. Telling me that performance is an issue. I don't understand why. It's clearly not. I could do 20 by 20, I guess. You're gonna be happier about that. Over 9 by 9 curved deformer divisions might impact performance. Maybe it's just because I have told it not to show me. Like I haven't told it. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's like a default thing. There we go. Now it's not complaining anymore. That's probably good. I think so. Very nice. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn everything off, which is going to be fun. So, well, except the face line art, actually. That could also go in here. Hey, could you get inside of the warp deformer, please? No, sorry. You are inside of the warp deformer. Goody. You're just positioned kind of weird. Not... Whoop-de-doo. It's all working. Okay, great. Are the other two in there or no? They're not. This is why Live 2D is weird. This stuff says it's places and it's not actually there. And you have to pretend that you're fine, but you're not really fine. Okay, so close front bangs, that's going off. Eye toggles should already be off anyway, really. Nose can turn off. Eyebrows, goodbye. Eyes, goodbye. Band-Aid, goodbye. We'll deal with you later. Android lines. Actually, the Android lines could probably go ahead and go in there. Why don't we go ahead and add those? You are going to go in my warp deformer, which should be near the top. It's not. Where did it go? Somewhere. Probably down here, because it's underneath the face. Are the eyes and all the other deformers really frustrating? Okay. Head, there we go. Yeah, put those in there. We'll go ahead and move those with everything else. Yeah, that's probably fine. Okay, mouth. Mouth is turned off. Everything else should be okay. I'm not super duper worried about the ears still being there because they're behind the head. Anyway. Oh, and I need to make sure that my thing is centered. Actually, that's important. You see this? You see this right here? This would mess me up. This would mess me up bad. It needs to be on the dot. So we need to move this with control. Nope. Is it shift? Nope. Is it control shift? Yes. Okay. Basically, these need to line up with each other here. Okay. That should be good. I don't think I need to change the size of this right now. Actually, scratch that. I am going to change the size of this a little right now. I know I just turned all the things off. It'll be fine. If it's a problem, we'll make it bigger again later. I probably can't actually. Let's just leave it alone. It'll be okay. All right, so now we're going to give head x, y. Go back to our parameters here. Close the eye parameters. Angle x and y. We're going to set 3 keyframes on both of these. We're going to go to x, and I'm going to look at my reference. This is my reference. I'm putting it back. It's on my other screen, so you guys won't get to see it. Sorry. I've not done things this way before. All right, the straight's already going to be done. We're going to do x first. So now we get to mess around. We're going to move this way. Ha ha ha, look at this. And then we're going to move stuff around. So this part's going to look bad, like everything kind of does when you start doing it. But I'm going to try to get it to look like my reference photo pretty well. Oftentimes what ends up happening is you're going to go back and change this later too. But I want to get the 4 corners of this done first this time. And then we will jump to the next part and see what happens. So this needs to come forward a bit more. This is really more supposed to be kind of straight in line. Okay, cool. This part's gonna go, no, this part is gonna go forward a little. And then this part's gonna go forward a little. And this part's gonna concave a bit. Not that one, this bit. Don't worry, we'll get there. Doing head XY is really finicky too. Like I usually end up messing around with it for a long time before I end up happy with it. Like we could concave that in. Da 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 do. Da 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. And actually, what ends up being better is you almost do want to move this forward more. Because if we go back to our angle Y here, you can always check your motion too. Like you can see, it looks like she's kind of spreading her chin out too much. So that's probably better. Because you don't want it to look like, you want it to look really natural when you turn the face. And you can hide some of this too, but like this is not bad for a start. This is actually pretty okay. And I guess it didn't matter that I had the Android lines because we will have to give those their own warp later too anyway, but for now it's fine. And the simpler that we can make this warp, probably the better, really. I feel like this could be a little bit more in, and this could probably be less. So if we move this back out and then move this in more, Maybe move it up some. Gonna be careful moving things up, but with these lines, I usually give myself a little bit of wiggle room there, because that can change where my concave for the side of the face is. Okay. And then this is gonna move back just a smidge. How's that looking? Oh, I actually think that's getting pretty close. Hold on. Ooh. This is middle. This is to the side. Yeah, that does seem about right, actually. We aren't losing any height on the chin, so the chin looks good. We do gain a little bit on the top of the head, but that's probably okay. I might push it back a little bit. The good news is, one of the fun things about head XY rigging is that we can just reflect everything. So once we get one side the way we like it, there's a pretty good chance, especially if I can keep this simpler, which you can see it's kind of not, but well, yeah, what you gonna do? But as long as you get it symmetrical, and especially since we're only dealing with one part right now, so far I think I like this method better. What's neat is you can just flip it, and then it'll be the same on both sides as long as you got it lined up right. Like when I did Regis, I ran into problems because his face is not symmetrically drawn. So even though like I tried my best to line it up, I was still getting weird stuff happening. But Hazel is pretty, she's actually pretty symmetrical, so I don't think we're gonna have a big issue there. This I did raise up a little bit. I think let's not do that. And I sank this. I think I want to keep this mostly straight here. And just kind of maybe like that. Let's see. I'll pull the reference over here for a sec. Do I feel like those look the same? We're getting close. We are definitely getting close. We're not there yet. Actually, I think this does need to sink a little. But it's in the right spot otherwise. And then this part back here, this needs to move back in some. But then down here, there's actually a little bit more of a curve to this. I wonder if this would eliminate the need for you to have like a face deformer, because I'm doing it based on the head and individual parts. I don't know. I guess I'll just kind of have to see when we get there. I don't want it to go too far. We're starting to get into like breaking the neck territory here. But No, give me back my reference. I really wasn't planning to show this on screen as much as I am, but it's here. So there needs to be more of a divot for sure. And there's actually meant to be, and we will make some of that too. Some of that comes with like the actual face deformer itself. I think that's actually why you have the face thing. Okay. So and it's too skinny. That's the main thing that I think I'm seeing is that it's too skinny. I don't want to pull it too much just from that. So more here. Yeah. Sometimes with Live 2D stuff too, you kind of have to think about it in reverse because some of it's not as intuitive as you'd like it to be. Like really, because she's turning her head to the side, you would actually see a little bit less of this side of the head. I'm getting some breakage there too. Let's go back. Okay. So push this in a little more. Pull this out a little more. I don't think that that's really giving me any trouble, so that's fine. It looks a little bit like she's looking up. Let's see. From here to here, here, here. Okay, I actually think that's pretty close to good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my head XY. There we go. We're going to grab this and we're going to go ahead and I don't know why sometimes I can get that to appear and sometimes I can't. It's fine. Motion mirroring lets me do it too. So we'll do that. And we'll flip this to the other side. So now in theory, this should be the same on both sides. And it does look... Yeah, I think it looks the same. Both directions. Pretty good. Hi, Bonnie. How's it going? We got a head moving. I've gone so off script of my tutorial video at this point, too. Like, we are really out of it, dude. We can check here, too, and see if there's any other changes we want to make, and we can reflect those across as well. Like, I don't know. I'm still thinking maybe move that forward some. Touch this back just a smidge. Maybe move that back a little bit. Yeah. Okay. We'll do that. Oh, whoops. Right. You have to select things. Thank you, brain. Do that a little bit horizontally. So all of this should remain the same pretty much no matter what. My message keeps getting cut, lol. Huh? Your message is getting cut. What's happening? I might need to move Regis over. Hold on. Derp, derp, derp. There we go. Now we can see chat better. This is so neat. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm doing hers a little bit differently. She had a reference picture for me that I actually have up on screen here. Is this reference chart for all the different head angles. And it doesn't have any of the features on it, so I'm trying something that I didn't do before. I've never been really happy, like the video tutorial that I've been following, I mentioned this earlier, but the video tutorial that I've been following for when I did mine and Nana's models, um, the head angles don't look exactly right. Like they get close, but it's not really perfect. I mean, not that anything you do is ever going to be perfect, but like you can get pretty close. And I feel like it could be closer than this. So in an effort to try to improve that, and because I have the reference from Sketchy for this, I'm trying to do all of the four corners of the head XY just on the head itself. And then I'm going to see if putting the other features back in and then giving them their own deformers after that still works. If it does, then this is going to be my new methodology going forward. Because I think the difference is, like, if you do it the other way, you get to warp everything all at once, but you can't see everything that you're doing. And then, I mean, you can, but you can't, like I can't see exactly, like here, right? With this on, I can see exactly what all of the different head angles and stuff are. And if I just turned on like one thing, let's do the front bangs, for example, okay? If I had the front bangs, like you can see now, I cannot see as much of the head. So it's harder to judge head angles and things. Now, the hair would be moving with everything else because it would be in the deformer, but you just don't have as much control over it. It does, like, you get to an end result faster, but I always found that I had to go back and like fix a bunch of stuff afterwards. And like I said, it still wasn't ever like exactly perfect. What am I using to make this? There's different things. I mean, the art was drawn in a Photoshop, like actually I think it was drawn in Clip Studio because I think that's what Sketchy uses. But the art was drawn in an art program. What I'm using to rig it is called Live 2D Cubism, which is a Japanese program. And if you want to get a subscription, I think PayPal will actually auto-convert it now because I haven't had to convert to yen. The first time that I bought it, I had to convert to yen in PayPal, which was an interesting thing to do. But anyway, so yeah, so that's the program. And you have a whole list. It comes predefined for models. You get this whole list of parameters. Some of these I have made for the eyes, but some of these are just come by default. And you get all these parameters. and they come pre-made with all like the math and everything already figured up for the model. And then what you do is you put keyframes on them. So for example, on head XY here, you can see on angle X, I have 3 keyframes, and on angle Y, I have 3, but I haven't changed anything on angle Y yet, so that's not doing anything. And on angle X, when I go over here, it moves this way, and when I go over here, it moves this way, and I should turn the bangs back off so you can see. But like this is the idea, right? So that's how that works. All of the different parts have a mesh that you can do, and you can change this from being light, like this is a standard mesh. They have a light mesh, and then they have a heavy one. When I was doing the eyes, some of the mesh you had to change to heavy, and there's different parts that you have to change for that. I've never really seen somebody use a light one, but I mean, if you have like a lower specs computer, you can try it. And then you have these, which are called warp deformers, and you make them with this tool up here. It pops up a thing, and you can change like how big it is, and the number of these green cross-looking things are called Beziers. And so you can change how many Beziers you have, just like where you can control it from. And then you adjust those, like I have been, to get it to do different shapes. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It can be very overwhelming at first. I made a model for Regis a while back, and part of the reason I didn't finish it was because the model didn't look great, because it was the first time I'd ever tried drawing one. But I remember I tried rigging the eyes for that, and I got like part way through a video, and then I stopped because it was taking me forever, and it was really, really hard to do. Excuse me. But the tutorial that I was following at the time is actually bad. The tutorial series, and if you want to check it out, Bonnie, it's in the description for the stream. Should be. The tutorial I'm following now is a series by Merle Yufei, and she does a really good job of explaining like how the program works and giving you like nice, easy ways to do stuff. So like I've gone in a different direction with doing the head stuff, like I've been talking about. Um, but I mean, I used her tutorial to do Regis and Nana, and those look fine. I'm just trying to get better at doing it. More experienced or like a more advanced tutorial probably, because I think Marilee does know how to do this. So I'm not like trying to knock her skills or anything, um, but like more advanced rigs will have where there's only 3 keyforms here on angle X. Some of them will have lots more, depending on what part they're working on. Like they really micromanage all the different ways that it can move. I'm probably not going to get into that too much with Hazel because I don't really think that it needs it. And this is already kind of a deviation, but there's a lot of stuff. Hold on, let me zoom out on Regis real quick too. If I go back to software I used to stream him. Come on, there we go. If I zoom out with Regis too, you can see the way his arms do. Oh, it's not going to control right for me because I have it my camera positioned wrong. But anyway, like his body just kind of shifts back and forth, and his arms are basically like noodle arms, essentially. You can see, like, there we go. They just kind of wiggle back and forth, and they don't really move like arms. You can get some that really move like arms, and they're like super 3D. It's really cool. Oh, bah, bah, bah. Let me put him back where he's supposed to be. Doo-doo. Okay, there we go. It's crazy to me how you can take a 2D drawing and make it look 3D. Yeah, it's really weird at first, right? It's there was a guy in one of my college classes last semester. We weren't doing live 2D. I didn't take college class for that. But it was a multimedia production thing, and we were working in a software that you could do similar stuff to what this is doing. It's just not as like niche honed in on this. And one of the things that he said that I thought was kind of funny about it was like, art is kind of about tricking the eye, especially when you take art and you make it move. And so you do. I mean, these are all just 2D assets, but you give them a mesh, and when you give them a mesh, you can manipulate them so it looks 3D. It's really cool. Where did OBS go? There's OBS. Sweet. I'm zooming back in here. I don't know. See, I messed with the VTuber now, and so now it's gonna be all over the place. But oh well. This is better. Okay. Octo Ramen. That's wild. It is pretty wild. That it is. It is pretty wild. Pretty wild. Okay, so we got the different directions looking good. I'm gonna kind of assume that when she looks right, or I'm sorry, when she looks to her left, it's to my right. That it's gonna be good because it's kind of the same. Oh, which VTuber? This one is Papada. I will turn the bangs on the front face and the eyes. You can get our data. This is Hazel, which belongs to Nana's friend Sketch Maiden. Technically my friend too, I guess, but I haven't gotten to talk to her as much. And yeah, so that's who it belongs to. She did all the art for it. I'm just rigging. I can show you one other thing too, since I've gotten so off track. Before I get back into actually doing stuff, I need to leave the eyes on for this. Hold on. Let me go to physics settings. We can pull this up. I'll show you what the eyes look like when she blinks. Because this is what I did off camera. I did record it, and I'm thinking about editing this down into a video at some point. But let me move this over. There we go. But this is what her eyes look like when she blinks. And this was actually a lot of fun to do. For Regis's eyes, when I blink, they don't do exactly like this. Sketchy really wanted like a mechanical rotation effect on the eyes. And I also thought it would be cool because it's like robot eyes. Sorry, inorganic eyes. Yeah, anyway. If it did like a camera lens where it like will scope in and out. So when she blinks, the pupil gets big for a sec and then it shrinks back down like it's adjusting like a camera lens, which I thought was cool. Yeah, it is. It's very cool looking. I had a lot of fun doing this. Probably doing physics settings is my favorite part about rigging. That's all of these things here. You have this pendulum, and this determines. So we have three different. Oh my goodness, I could explain this. Okay, so we have three different physics parameters, and if I put that back on screen for a sec, if I open the eyes, I can't do that without closing this. Hold up, close this first. Okay. If I open the eyes panel here, these are the physics parameters, and there's one for each eye, but they do the same thing, just in reverse. And then you control those here. And so you can change how fast and how much shake each thing has and how long it shakes for. And it's a lot of different like fiddly settings. And most of the time you're just spending a bunch of time looking at whatever part you're doing physics for and being like, oh, does that look good? And then like it's like an eye test. It's like when you go to the optometrist. That's what eye doctors are called, right? I think so. I don't know. But yeah, it's like when you go to the eye doctor and they give you the vision test and it's like, okay, does this look better or does this look better? And you're just doing a bunch of that over and over again. But the end result is usually pretty satisfying when you get it done. And they're always just a little bit different. You kind of have to do it. You can like save parameters. Like if you find a set of eyes parameter like physics that you really like, you can save it and you can reuse it later. But usually there's fine tuning to do. Yeah, I am correct. It is an optometrist. Good. Okay, sweet. My brain cells work. Totally. Nice. Anyway, let me turn the eyes and that's not the eyes, that's the hair. Turn the eyes and the hair back off and pull my reference back to the side of the screen that it's supposed to be on so that I can look at it. Over here. Can I please? There we go. Oh. Oh, big yawn. Okay. Wake up, Regis. Jeez. All right, so now we're gonna go do down and up. So when we go, close the eyes. So when we pull this parameter over here on angle Y, we're going to move her head down so that it looks like she's looking in that direction. And that's going to start this way. And then we're going to shrink her face. Promise this will make sense in a second. So when you look down, you're going to see more of the top of your head. And I get back my thing, please? Kind of like this. And that's actually going to be pretty close just on its own right there, which is fairly nice. We're going to move these up a little bit too. On both sides here. It's hard to line this up, but you want to try to get this to be pretty close to the same there as well. I can see how that's really fun to work on the physics. It's rewarding. Yeah, it is. I think that's why I like it. Like with the rest of the stuff, it's a lot of just like fiddling with organization and laying stuff out and just getting it to be correct. But with the physics, like things move. So it's a lot of fun. It's like I don't know if you've ever seen them. There are these people who post like kinetic sand videos online. I know this because I work well anyway. There's people who post videos and stuff like that, and it's like cutting or I don't know. It's a whole video subgenre. It's like it's not ASMR, but it's kind of like adjacent to that. Oh. And some of those are kind of satisfying to watch sometimes. And doing physics settings is a lot like that. Look, now her face wiggles. Ha 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 ha. So it should look like she's going down a bit, which it does. So that's good. And we do want to push these up just a slight bit. And now this will move up a little too. I'll move it down a little bit more. So let's see. That's coming together pretty good. I'd say kinetic is satisfying too, lol. Strange touch, but satisfying. Yeah, it was kind of a weird thing to bring up, probably. Anyway. Looking down and up's always hard too, because it always kind of looks like, and the mesh is not helping me here. Like, you see how it looks like her head is just scrunching? That's not what I want it to look like. Let's go back a couple steps. You want it to look more like this. I just want it to be moved more than what this looks like. So that's probably going to be fixed by just doing this and moving it further down on her face. And we shrink that a bit and then lengthen that a bit, and that might work. Yeah, that's getting close. Okay. Like it should look like she's nodding, essentially, is the idea here. I'm going to scrunch it ever so slightly more. Ah, that's what's bugging me about it. Okay. Understand what I'm doing wrong now. Let's reset. Do I want to reset actually? Hold on. No, I don't. I think I just want to go further. So let's push this up. Squish it. Maybe that's where I'm going. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe I just want to squish the face. And then drag these. Okay, that is actually really close. Hold up a sec. I want to move this up slightly more, and these up slightly more. Oh, that's really close. Okay, hold on. Let's do lower this just a bit more. Yeah, that's better. Sometimes it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around like which way something needs to move to, because it's like kind of what we were talking about before about how you're kind of trying to trick somebody's eye a little bit. Um, Sometimes you kind of trick yourself, which is always a fun thing to do, for sure. Right? Yeah, it is. Like you can kind of, which is why I like this better so far because you can really see better what you're doing. I think it needs to move down a little more actually. I think I want it. Nope. I think I want it more. Be down like that. Okay, let's see. So up, down, up, down, up, down. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Do I like it or do I not like it or what am I thinking? I really don't know. Let me pull my reference over here. I think the face is actually a little bit too long with the way that I've deformed it. I think it needs to be. Nope, not universally scaled. Thank you. I was going to ask, you mentioned that you may edit this into a YouTube video. What editing programs do you like to use for your vids? I'm trying to do more full-length vids myself this year. Yeah, I use DaVinci Resolve mostly. Um, and if not that, like you can use the Adobe suite. I personally kind of have a hate-hate relationship with Adobe. Um, but they do have some good programs, like Adobe Audition is pretty nice if you want to do like a lot of sound editing. I've messed around with it for one of my college classes before, and it works pretty good. Premiere's fine. I like the setup in DaVinci a little bit better, and DaVinci it does have a paid subscription with extra features, mostly AI stuff, which, I mean, I don't know. Some of it's kind of interesting, but I don't know how useful it is anyway. They have like some tools and stuff, so you might have to work sometimes a little bit differently to get to the end result that you want. But like the core program with all of the main editing features and stuff is all free. So I like that aspect of it a lot. And the layout is a little bit more user friendly than Premiere is. So it works pretty nice. Um, I don't know. I've seen another one called CapCut. I don't really like CapCut a lot, but I mean, it's okay. You can make videos with it. I think you have to pay to get it to not have a watermark on it too, which isn't great. So I would say DaVinci if you were gonna do something. Um, but Adobe works too, and they're about on par. I think DaVinci is a little bit easier to run than Adobe is nowadays, but yeah. I agree with you about wanting to do more long videos though. I really want to get into that this year. I finally have more time. Okay, I think I could fiddle around with this for forever. I think that I'm going to call this good. It's pretty close. I may mess around with it some more later, but we're pretty close here. Um, okay, I used to still do have Adobe Cloud, but I think I lost access to it with my school email. I've heard Markiplier say DaVinci is good too. May have to check it out. That is so funny because I do not keep up with Markiplier, so I'm giving out the same advice as him. That's very funny. But yeah, no, DaVinci's great. It's like free open source. When I had animation, like intro to animation, or maybe it was for my figure drawing class, I don't know. But we had to deal with timeline stuff, and my teacher told us about that one, and it's pretty nice. Um, Actually, hold on a sec. Let me be a generous streamer for a moment. I have it installed, and my computer is typically able to run stuff very easily. So continue. I just want to start the program. I'll mess with setting it up later. I can actually show you real quick what it looks like. So, oh dear. Can I make it not full screen? View. More move. Oh, there we go. Okay. That did work. Yeah. Um, okay. Apparently, it doesn't like being moved around on my screen, so that's nice. But this is DaVinci. This is kind of what the workspace looks like. You have, I don't have video files to drag in here, but you have your main cut editor where you can like cut different files and stuff. It's got a video player. Oh dear. It quit unexpectedly. Well, that's probably just because I don't have it set up right. DaVinci should really sponsor me. But you can kind of see how it looks a little bit there anyway. Animation's a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh dear. Oh, that's my background. That is my background. I wanted to move Regis. Thank you. Make him a little smaller. Okay. Yeah, no, animation is super fun. I've had a lot of fun with it. And in fact, that class taught me how to do, well, we learned 3D modeling in that class too, in Intro to Animation. Um, that was a fun project. Really intense. When I was I'm at a different university now, but when I was at that university, the animation teacher there, she had a reputation for being like a boot camp leader, and boy did she ever live up to that. She was crazy. Um, Still one of my favorite professors to the date, though. Her classes were always super fun. She was just like in her mid to late 20s when she was teaching, so she was really fun. She would like cut up with us in class and go on like wild tangents and stuff. And she was weirdly obsessed with a lot of things. She's actually the person who kind of finally convinced me. I was already thinking about it at the time, but seeing how excited she was about it kind of convinced me to watch One Piece. Um, so that's why I'm such a big pirate fan now, which is funny. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Animation's one of those classes like it's a lot of fun to do, but you spend like a metric ton of time doing it. Sketchy agrees with me. Let's see. Uh, I know I said I was going to be done with this. I really feel like this needs to shrink more, but not quite that much. I could spend all day finicking with this. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna call that good. I think it's pretty close, and I am tired of messing with the down. So we'll address it again with corners. Yeah, for real, it's definitely a full dedication to it. I'd love to go more into it though. Yeah, that's right. You do animatics, don't you, Bungie? Yeah. Yeah, no, we should do we should do like a like an extended art friends stream at some point. Me and Bardic and Nana have been talking about doing an art friend stream for like over a year now, and we still have not done one. But we should totally do that sometime and like just um I could make it into like an animation stream and just show you guys a bunch of how to do animation stuff. That might be fun. Maybe I'll add that to the roster for February. Why, yes. Yes. That could be a fun one to do. We'd probably have to do that one on a Saturday, so I have like lots more time to do it. Um, but yeah, we could try to do that. Oh, an art stream tonight. Ha, cool. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I want to do more community-based streams when I get like kind of back into the swing of things again. Okay, now we get to do the up. Now we get to do the uppies, guys. Yay, uppies. And it's really going to be a lot like the down, except up. And everything's going to be in reverse. So, like, the bottom of the face, you will see more of. And the top of the face, you will see less of. So it ends up being a lot like this. Uppies. Yep. Oh, I actually do have a funny story from when we were doing animation. So, hold on, let me grab context. This is gonna require context. Artwork. And inside of my artwork folder, it is the 3D modeling one. And do I have a better? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I'll drag this over. Okay, so this is. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I'm supposed to be doing the up. Um, anyway, this is my Chimera, which was the first project that we did in Intro to Animation. We had this 3D modeling project where we were given two animals that we drew randomly out of a hat. It was a lot of fun. And then we were told, hey, so now you're going to figure out how to animate this, or not even animate, how to model this, um, and make it into a 3D model. And you're going to use both animals, and you had to include features from both animals, and then you had to use robot parts because robot parts are a lot easier. Like hard surface modeling is what they call it. You want to be technical, and it's a lot easier to do that than it is to do organic shapes. My guy actually does. You can see his tail is organic, um, and it's got that, but it's a pretty simple shape. It's a lot harder to do like complex organic modeling. Um, So yeah, so we did this. So this is an axolotl. I got elephant and axolotl, which was a really fun combination, and that's also what's behind me on my stream overlay. And I've like hints. World built it out, and it's going to be one of the creatures in the story that lives is like native to Australia and stuff. So I had a lot of fun making this guy. But anyway, but the funny part of the story is this. So I was working on animating that or rigging. Ugh, so many words. I was working on 3D modeling this. Okay. And you can see on the underside of body note here, where it's got these two like sort of semicircle um, torso shapes, okay? And yeah, you're getting like axofontal lore while we're in here. Yeah, that's where this came from. It's probably one of the reasons it's my favorite class because this is my little guy. But anyway, my teacher called this the underpants part, and she was kind of a real stickler for like you need to name things in a way that makes sense and that you will like not forget and that helps you stay more organized and helped her stay more organized because she was kind of crazy. And then also um, the program that we were working in, which was Autodesk Maya, which is one of like the first 3D modeling and animation softwares that was created. I think she told us that Disney made it, like Pixar, like it's actually Pixar's program, um, or it was built on top of Pixar's program. I don't know exactly the history of it as well as she did, but anyway, and it was one of like the industry standard programs or whatever. I mean, really, people will tell you that every program is an industry standard, so meh. But it was like one of the first animation programs out there. And she compared it when she was looking at it because she was giving me feedback on how I was modeling it. And she's like, "You need to like fix the underpants part." And so that's what I named it when I gave it back to her, and she thought it was hilarious. It was great. She also thought it was kind of strange. Um, but anyway, yeah, that's where the axophonal came from. That was my intro to animation class. I learned all about how meshes and vectors and all kinds of other stuff work in 3D space. I don't like how I did this. Can we go back? Let's go back a step. You can redo the last step. I love that though. Yeah, I think it's funny. In one of my other classes with her, I was doing it was a drawing class, and it was like a special course. They don't offer it all the time. Oh, but it was called dynamic figure drawing. And basically that entire class we just spent learning how to draw anatomy and stuff. We even had a pop quiz. We had a pop quiz in an art class. That's how crazy this was. Okay. And it ended up being like one of the final weeks of class. I was stressing about that pop quiz for like ever. Um, but yeah, so one in that class though, what was I? Oh dear, my brain has stopped functioning. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So like I said, she got me into One Piece. Um, kind of, sorta. Like I said, I was already thinking about watching it, but it was kind of the last push that I needed to do it. And we were looking for references and stuff, and she's like, "Okay, give me a character that you guys want to draw." And so I had just started One Piece, okay, and I was like, "I want to draw Luffy," and she's like obsessed with One Piece as much as I am, if not more than I am now. And so she jumped at the chance. She's like, "Okay, fine, let's do it. We're gonna draw One Piece." And everybody else in the class was so annoyed because nobody else wanted to draw Luffy, but me and her were having the time of our lives. It was hilarious. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Using the mesh editor just works better when you're doing this. You can and you can see I'm already doing it wrong. I'm squishing the face. Is not what it needs to do. You need to squish the top of the head and then move this up. Basically, it really needs to look like she's breaking. See, and I was new to that class. Like, I mean, I'd only had her when I did dynamic figure drawing. I'd only had her intro to animation class. And so a lot of the other kids who were in dynamic figure drawing had had her for like so many classes. So they knew that she was obsessed with One Piece. And one of the ones that she would always cut up with in class, he called her out. He's like, "Nah, you're not doing it because this kid asked. You just want to draw Luffy." And she's like, "No, Corbin, or I mean, Regis asked for it. Like he's the one who wanted to do it." So anyway, um, so that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in those classes. Those were great. To date, I think the only other college class that I've really enjoyed as much as those was the one last semester where I did multimedia, and we got to mess around with a bunch of like recording programs and editing stuff, and that was a pretty good time too. Trying to make the head look right. Kind of a challenge. Ah, that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, story time with Regis is over. Now it's back to rigging things. What's weird is that this one she drew a lot more square shaped, which I guess is how it needs to be. But it's really not the one I would have expected to be. I'd love to be immersed in that. So much of my graphics classes were through my minor, so I didn't take as many of those classes. Yeah, it's fun. I don't know what you majored in, Bungie, but um, art classes are oh, this looks awful. Ick, 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 ick. Um, art classes are interesting. I had a friend, Walker. I should just say his name. You guys know who he is. Anyway, um, Walker went to school for electrical engineering. if you didn't know. You're getting Walker lore now. And and his classes were really hard. Like he had to do a bunch of math and a bunch of other stuff that I never touched, okay? When I went to college, I took one finite mathematics course which dealt with like statistics at the end. And the first part of the class was like if then statements, which I was already pretty good at because I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player, used to be, kind of retired now, um but used to be a Yu-Gi-Oh player. And all Yu-Gi-Oh really is if then statements. So it was like a logic math class. It was not hard, right? Um, I cannot wrap my mind around some of the stuff that he talks about sometimes. And what he did talk about when we were there in math. Like he would show me equations and things, and I'd be like, ah, that's cool. That's really neat that you know how to do that. And I have absolutely no idea what he was talking about most of the time. But anyway, um, and art classes are different, right? Because in art classes, a lot of what you do, like the stuff you do is kind of easy, right? By comparison. And some people still struggle with it, like especially if you're doing like more digital based stuff. There's a lot of technical aspects to art too. Um, I mean, really with traditional art as well. Like there's processes and there's things you have to learn and how to do all this stuff. But like fundamentally, anyone can do art stuff. Like as long as you memorize the process and you understand like how to do it, it's not typically that difficult to achieve, right? It just takes a lot more time. So as an art student, you don't really have to do as much studying for tests. I did still have to do some, mostly for non-art classes, and I did have the pop quiz in that one. But a lot of the time, you don't do a lot like as much studying, but you do trade that for the amount of work time that you spend on your projects. So it kind of balances out, oddly enough. But it's fun to be immersed in it, I guess. I don't know. The other big thing that's kind of weird about it is like, and it's been a good experience, I think, because I've had to get more used to talking to people about things that I've made. But you have to do art critiques, and art critiques are where they tell you like, okay, so you've made this thing, you spent like hours and hours and weeks in class making this thing, and now you're gonna get up in front of everybody else in the class and you're gonna talk about what you made. And that's an experience. And like the first class that I ever had to do art critiques into, um, I had this. She was really nice, actually one of the nicer teachers I've had. But she was also a real stickler for like using proper like critique grammar. Like none of my other classes that I've ever had as an art student have worried about it. But she was really like dead set, like you're going to use the correct ones. So we had these like really formal critiques in her class, and that was kind of nerve wracking to do because then it's not just like, oh, I'm talking about this, but like I have to talk about it and I have to sound professional. Like that's nice, you know. Are we getting there? I feel like maybe we're getting there, kind of. Shrink these back a little bit more. I'd 100% agree with you on the workload. My major was communications and my minor was art. So I did take a fair deal of art classes, just not as many as like Bardic did. Yeah, that's right. You guys did go to college together. Um, Communications is a cool major, actually, by the way. I have not done, I think that one would be more fun to be immersed in, to be honest. I did one communications class when I was in school. It was like Foundations of Human Communication. And that one was one of the most fascinating classes I think I've ever taken. It was really interesting. Like I don't often with stuff that's not like things for my degree that I have to learn. I don't often like spend time actually trying to like digest a lot of the information for stuff for tests and things. I kind of just do the work and get it done. And if I have to study, I do whatever studying I have to do like the minimum amount. But with that class, I really tried to like learn some of the stuff there because it was really interesting stuff. Um like almost like not quite a psychology class. Like it's kind of psychology based, right? But it's not. It's not really. It's just more about like how people talk to each other and like the way that we talk to each other and how people interpret how you talk to them. And that kind of. So it's just as a really interesting field for sure. Critiques are difficult if you're not used to them. I remember for a painting I had to do that. Was my first experience. Yeah, yeah. Critiques are kind of annoying that way. Thanks. My comm classes were pretty neat to study. I agree. Talking slash psychology slash history. But I'd almost say I did way more in art during college. Still enjoyed it though. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just not the best student. That's possible. Okay, I think we're getting close with this. Does this. That's closer. It's still kind of warped looking. So is the down, honestly. I think we need to move it back down some. And what I have learned is when in doubt, drag these down. And that usually helps. Oh, yeah, that's a lot closer. A lot less warped looking. Actually, do you think we need to push it back up some? Oh, which is fine. Drag that down a little bit and then kind of back up. Just push this just a smidge more. Nope, I did it again. See, nope, it needs to. Hold on, gotta go back. I'm telling you, it's so easy to confuse yourself on like how stuff is supposed to move here. No, redo that last bit. I do want it to be up further because it needs to be pushed down further. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And yes, absolutely on the psycho comment. Who's a psycho? Is it me? Am I the psycho? I could be the psycho. I might be. Who knows? I've got a hard time sticking my head. Nice. Yeah, like the amount of control that you have is so crazy. All right. So this is how far we go up, and this is how far we go down. I think now I understand down needs to be a little bit less. It's going all the way down her chin. Really isn't quite doing it for me, so maybe a little bit further. Not so low, thank you. Down, up, down, up. Okay, I actually think that that is pretty close to dead set. Nice. So now we have left and right. Still looking pretty solid. And then we have up and down. Okay. Now we get to do fun things. We're going to take head XY. We're going to grab both of these. And we're going to grab this and we're going to do something called synthesize corners. Okay. And then we're going to angle these. And so now, when she looks in every direction, we end up with this, which is already so much better than like 90% of the head angles that we've had before, which is really cool. Okay, it's also getting to the 425 mark, and I was going to take a break around now. So I don't actually have a stream starting soon thing. So we're gonna make one real quick, and then I'm going to take a break and come back. I'm also, while I'm at it here, going to save this. There we go. Let's make a new one real quick. Chat. I'm gonna make a new scene. You guys are gonna be black for a sec, but you should still be able to hear me. I promise that wasn't racist. Anyway, we're gonna make an image capture. Here we go. Okay. We're going to browse this. I may actually still have the one that I used to use. Hold on, let me see if I got it. Artwork. In here. We can use this. This works. Okay, I've got to resize it. Hold on. There we go. That works, right? Yeah, there we go. That works. This will be our return to streaming in a second thing. We regret to inform you that your streamer wanted a shortcut and only made one waiting screen. Only the one. Okay, so I'm going to take 5, guys, and I'll be back, and we'll do a little bit more on the head. Probably, it looks like, based on how long I've been going. I didn't realize it was 4:30 already. We're probably going to get the X and, like, the corners done for just the head part of the XY. And then we will move on. So, BRB. There we go. Now my mic's on. I'm back. Hi, guys. So I think I've got this corner worked out. This one should be just about done. You can see, like, over here, this is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. Um, I do think it's looking up a little bit much, so what we might do is adjust some of this down just a little. Push some of this back up just a smidge. Yeah. Yeah, I think that looks good. So basically what we're doing, I can kind of explain real quick. So if we go back over here to this side, for example, you can see this looks, and it actually doesn't look as bad on this side, but you can see this looks off, right? Um, and especially like on the down angles, like you see how this doesn't really look like how a face moves in 3D space. So I fixed this corner up here. Um, and so you can kind of think about the way that the head XY deformer works, sort of like a basketball. Okay? So if the head is the basketball, the way that these are going to move is going to be dependent on which way the basketball is turning, which is why these kind of cave in and expand here. So it gets longer, you see less of it, right? And the same thing on the other side. So when we go up here, and this actually looks pretty okay here, ironically, it didn't over here. But you can see, like, we shouldn't be able to see as much of this corner up here, and this corner down here should really be stretched more. And so it's kind of like making it look sort of weird. Admittedly, again, this side actually looks pretty okay. So I fixed this one. What we're going to do now is we're going to unlink these and motion mirroring. Oh, sorry, on angle X, motion mirroring. So we're going to flip it horizontally. And so now what happens is we go pop, 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 just like that. But now it looks the same on both sides. Which is pretty good. It's pretty close to my reference too. With the corners, it can be kind of tricky, so I don't think I'm really going to get a whole lot closer than this. And you really, like, even with like down here on the bottom of the chin, I think this is about as good as you could really possibly get it on both of these. I don't know. I might tweak it some more when we get to putting the rest of the features back on the face. That might be a thing. But we're going to try to fix these now on the bottom angle here. Oof. On the bottom angle. Oh, yeah. Let me do one other thing too, real quick. There we go. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing here. Now, the way that I achieved this up here in the warp deformer is I moved these sections here up and I moved these ones down. And it's a little like, you know, like everything else, you have to get it just right. It's a balancing act. But you're going to do the opposite for the down. So whereas this one, these moved down, right? Down here, they're going to move up. And you're really just pushing them. To try to get them to line up correctly. And this is, it's getting there. We go here, you can see this into this. And then you're still going to see less of this, right? Because this is this side of the face. So we're going to push this in. And then this side's still going to be stretched out more. And that's probably really too much because it's kind of contorting oddly. It's really just meant to look like she's looking down. But now it's kind of looking like she's tilting her head, which isn't really the effect that I'm going for. So possibly just kind of move those back a little bit more there. Like you can see how it doesn't come down straight anymore. Okay, we might just push back here because something definitely didn't go right with that try. Okay, redo whatever that was. Okay. So up to down. No, I'm doing it as if I'm doing it. That's what's wrong. Okay. I'm doing it the wrong way. This needs to go down. And this side needs to get pushed up. Yeah. 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 That is correct. It's this side's gone down too far. No, something's still not quite right about this. Let's try doing it from the other side here. That might help. So up. So in theory, we should be able to see more of this side of the face. So they should all move down, and then these should get pushed up and further away. Yes. Okay. And then these would be compressed in more. Still getting some auto warping here. That at least is looking pretty close to Hmm. Like, did I shrink it too much? I don't know. I'm still having a little bit of warping happening. Okay, see, but that's close though, right there. I think the head here needs to be very slightly. Oh, we're getting really close now. Okay. It's still rotating a bit much. I think I can fix that by just walking this back a little. Hmm. I don't know if I like this. I almost kind of just want to start over. This is definitely gone horribly wrong. Her face is just kind of shrunk on that side. Go back to this side, see if we can get this one to work. Ooh, there we go. Okay, that's getting somewhere. Had to do weird things to my mesh to do it, but we are getting somewhere. Oh, that's cool. I can rotate him. I didn't know I could do that. Nifty. All right. So okay. We're starting to get somewhere here. Oh yeah. 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 Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay, it needs to come down just a smidge more. When I say a smidge, I really mean a smidge. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if we unhook this again, grab parameter X, then we're going to reflect it across. Okay. And now if we link it up, turn up this head. This is what it looks like to move the head around. Okay, not bad. I think I could be a lot more picky about that, really, if I wanted to be, but I think that's pretty close to fairly spot on. Some of the, I mean, they're definitely close. Some of the shapes I think are a little bit different than, like, this is the downward angle that Sketch had. And this is what mine looks like, for example. It might be pointing out a problem that I have with all of them, though. Like, I wonder if I just squish this up a bit more. Like, only a little bit. And then if we went over here, because it would almost be the right shape if it was like this. So if we mirrored that across, so that it's the same both places, and then we were to just, on this part, move it up a little. I feel like that's a lot closer to what we were meant to put on there. Yeah. Okay. So that, I think, is pretty close to where this is. Now, I was curious. Yeah, that's what I thought. The gradient is just on there. I could potentially make another warp deformer just for the gradient. But again, I think it's pretty close. I think I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. And that and the face line should all be in there. So now we get to try something kind of fun. With the last little bit of time we have before I probably close out for today. And that is dragging a bunch more things now into the head XY and seeing how it looks. Realistically, we probably would want to do this one at a time, but there are some things that, like, especially with the face, that really need to get put in here kind of all the same. So, for example, if I were to take, we have all this stuff in here. So if I were to take, like, the mouth and stick it inside of this, I think I actually have to do this on the deformer page here. But I could select the child things. Okay, hold on. And a child object, select all. Okay, so if I were to select the mouth, for example, here, all of these bits, and I were to take these and put them inside of the head now. Hold on, let me get there. Maybe I should have done that on the normal one. Let's undo that. Let's go to the normal one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now let's put them where they're supposed to be. Hold this for a really long second again. Okay, and if I were to then drag this in here, and then if we were to turn it on, for example, so that we could see it. So now we have the mouth there. And yeah, you can tell it's not great, but it is working. Man, and just having something actually on the face is kind of pointing out things that could maybe be better. It kind of breaks the illusion a little bit, I guess is what I mean. But that will get fixed eventually. So this works, which is good. That means that I can just grab everything else that I need to and put all of it inside of everything else. So like all of the hair from the front bangs can go in here. So let's go and grab these. I'm going to grab everything here. And we'll just stick all that in there too. And we'll do this for everything. Now, a lot of this stuff will have to get fixed like one at a time, similar to what we just did with the head. And they'll each get their own warp deformers for that and everything else that'll happen. But I'm going to go ahead and put them all inside of this bit first. And we're just going to test them individually, and hopefully they will not be too broken. Like you can see, this is being weird now. And that's why we'll give them their own deformers. When it comes to it, because so far this is looking very cursed. But I'm just dropping it in. Like, this will have its own warp deformer. And the video that I follow has one, like, it gives the face its own warp deformer. I may end up doing one for each individual part. But hair gets its own anyway. Like it's called warp over warp rigging, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So all that's in there now. We need to put the eyes back. Because this is all, yeah. All right, all that got put in there. Eye toggles we weren't gonna mess with yet. Dark face toggle, I actually do want to go ahead and stick inside of it. So we will do that real quick. That's going in there. The blush face toggle, these, and all of the ear ones will also go in there. And all this front hair here should go in there too. These are the side bangs, and you can see that's how they're behaving now. Specifically, the left ones is what those were. Actually, I might undo that. I might not put those in there with the rest of this. But these all will go in there. Okay. Honestly, all the ear bits really should probably just end up in there. All the face stuff should already be in there. These need to go in there. Like really everything except the back hair goes in with this. Eventually the back hair will get its own XY. Okay. earrings, ears, side bangs. I'm considering whether or not I want to put in there. The mouth is in there already. This is the face, so those are both done. Android line's already in there. This should already be in there. So we need to do this next. Edit is done. Now we'll do eyes again. There are a lot of parts for this one. Okay. But now all of those are in there. And you can see this is what it's looking like. This is normal, by the way. This is a fun angle. All of this will be fixed with like individual XYs for each of these. They are still normal here, and you have to fix it for everything else so that it matches up with where the face is. Because right now it's all underneath that head XY, so it's all getting smushed and mashed in ways that break the illusion, but will not eventually. Okay, so that's eyes. We gotta do eyebrows and the nose. So select all. That goes in head XY next. And then we do the nose. Which is actually a really simple bit. We'll just do there. And then because all this hair is kind of getting on my nerves, we're just going to move all of it down to the bottom. Underneath all of my other words. There we go. And yeah, you can see now all of this is outside of it. The neck is not moved by the head. XY rig. It will get an XY, but it will have its own eventually. That's kind of a step later. So yeah, so you can see now all that's there. And if we go in here, this is what we're currently working with. If I go into the physics settings, it'd be pretty fun if we put it on posing and do this. And you got some wonky sketch going on right about now. But yeah, great job, guys. So it is 5:30. I think that's where I'm gonna stop stream for today. I'm kind of out of brain juice for working on this right now. So I'll probably do some more stuff off camera, maybe try to get some of the rest of the XYs for everything kind of figured out over the rest of the week. And then, actually, hold on, let me pull up the schedule. I don't actually know what I have next going on stream-wise. Yeah. So the next thing will be next week on Monday. We will be working on this some more. So that will still be the next stream. And after that, we're going to get to do Hightail, which I'm very excited about, and get back into doing some gaming stuff for kind of towards the end of the month. But this is taking shape and going pretty good. We got a little bit more to do. Once we get a lot of the XY stuff done for all the different parts, that really is like 90% of the way done. And there's a lot of that still left to do. Like we'll have to do it for the pieces of the torso and the back hair and everything else, like, and matching that up with like matching the hair up on the front hair and the back hair is it's the whole deal. But I think doing it more meticulously like this has worked out nicer. In fact, we could test this. Hold on. We'll do one more thing and then I'll end stream today. Side bangs. Side bangs may need to go in there too. I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to give that its own outside of that XY. It'll probably end up in there eventually. Okay, here we go. Head. So if I turn nose, if I turn all this stuff back off again for a minute. And we turn off front bangs. Okay. What we can do now is go back to our modeling and see how it looks just with the head. And that's not the one I wanted. I wanted, stop. I wanted this one. So you can see this is what is actually happening, like underneath all of those other layers that are still wonky. And I think that our head angles are looking really nice. So this is coming together pretty well. So now it's just about matching everything else up to it. And believe it or not, this is actually the hardest step. I mean, it continues to be the hardest step for all the other pieces too, but really getting the head to be correct. I mean, we spent basically all of our time today on this, but everything else should now go faster because I know that this is accurate, and that's going to help a lot. So anyway, that's going to do it for today on stream though, guys. We will be back on Monday the 12th, and it's going to be later. Probably starting around, like, I don't know, 5 maybe 4:30, if I feel like starting as early as that. But anyway, so I'm Octaregis, and I will catch you guys in the Outback. See you later.